Welcome, everyone. My name is Mark Ritchie, and I have the honor of serving as president of Global Minnesota, your host for today. Today, we are commemorating World Food Day. It celebrates the birthday of the UN's Food and Agriculture Organization. It was first observed in 1981, so we're carrying on a very rich and very long tradition. Some of you have come and been part of World Food Day for decades. Some of you, this may be your very first time, your very first opportunity. So welcome to all, wherever you're calling in from, Zooming in or YouTubing it, wherever you are on the planet. I know that if you've joined us today, you share our passion for reaching that global goal for sustainable development of zero hunger, and take pride in the success that we've had over the last decades in reducing hunger, malnourishment, and food insecurity worldwide. But I'm also guessing you share our broken hearts to the fact of our going backwards on the world food insecurity front. We know from every corner of the planet, there have been very disturbing reports, specific situations, but just in general. We've gone backwards for a couple years, and we now want to regain that momentum using today as a way for us to move again forward. We're going to start today by looking at the three big things that are happening that have been making us all less secure in our food supply. One is the climate crisis. The second is the COVID-19 pandemic. And the third are conflicts, violent conflicts within countries and across borders. This morning, we'll be hearing from the world experts, the leaders of the Food and Agriculture Organization, the World Food Program, ECOSOC at the UN. We will also be focusing on how we frame our strategy for moving ahead to move us towards those 2030 global goals for sustainable developments, the SDGs, with zero hunger in our minds. The afternoon, we'll be looking at solutions. Panels will feature some of the success stories where people are combining the day-to-day work of making their lives and their neighbors and their communities more food secure with solutions that tackle the underlying causes of the climate disruption, of our breakdown in public health, of conflicts between people over land or water or whatever it might be. So those three C's, that conflict and COVID and climate, will be our focus during the day. And our goal is to give everyone who's viewing the opportunity to learn the facts, the ideas, the approaches, the information you need if you want to try to work in concert with others around the planet to reach this goal of zero hunger by 2030 and to reverse the backward direction we've headed in food insecurity. We'll be kicking off the day with a warm welcome by our wonderful governor, Tim Walz. He's a sustainable development champion, a climate smart champion, and a strong proponent and active leader for social and economic justice. After his welcome, we'll be joined by the global head of the Food and Agriculture Organization. They're the primary sponsor of World Food Day. This occasion celebrates their founding date right after the Second World War. In fact, immediately following the creation of the UN, their first act of creation was creating the Food and Agriculture Organization to tackle that global famine that the whole world faced after the Second World War. Director General Dongyu is the lead of that Food and Agriculture Organization. We'll hear from him first. Then we'll hear from the head of the UN's World Food Program, the Honorable David Beasley. He was our keynote speaker last year, World Food Day 2020. Very coincidentally, but very fortuitously, he had just been honored, the World Food Program, and he represented them by the Nobel Peace Prize Committee for their work in advancing peace and in combating and really challenging the way that food is used as a weapon in war. And so we're so pleased that he could join us again today. And finally, we'll hear from the relatively new head of our North American Liaison Office of the Food and Agricultural Organization, Jocelyn Brown Hall. And you'll hear some about the wonderful things FAO has been doing in North America and around the world to celebrate this in over 150 countries worldwide. Before we start those sessions, I have two housekeeping things. One is I want to make sure that you know that there is closed captioning for anyone hard of hearing, deaf, or any other need for closed captioning. Instructions are on the YouTube feed in the description box. They'll also be repeated on a slide throughout the day, but I want to make sure anyone who needs that kind of accommodation, that kind of opportunity, there are the instructions there on the YouTube page. And then finally, I want to thank everyone who's made today's event and the opportunity we have to work together really possible. It's an amazing team here at Global Minnesota and a fantastic board, our board chair, Muffy McMillan, and the whole team there on the executive committee, but the whole organization has to pull together to pull off a really big event like this. And we couldn't do it without the support and participation of all of the speakers. You'll see a number of them in the morning and many more in the afternoon. They are really crucial to our success, our ability to make this happen. And then finally, to all of our members, so those are individuals, companies, nonprofits, they give us support that is financial, that makes free events like this one, which is broadcast worldwide and will be archived essentially forever and available to teachers and professors, to Rotaries and everybody else for the next 10 years or longer. Those supporters are the ones who make this possible. We're also very pleased and very proud to be financially supported by our own state of Minnesota and by the US State Department. We're part of their overall effort to make sure that more and more engagement, and this fits with our mission, which is advancing international understanding and engagement. We do that by connecting people to the world and the world to Minnesota. Today, we're fortunate to be able to connect the whole planet together thanks to this wonderful technology. And I want to welcome our amazing Governor Tim Walz to join us for kicking off our World Food Day 2021. Thank you again to everyone for joining us today.
Hello, everyone. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz here. Thank you to all of you who have joined us from across the United States from over 24 countries. I'm truly honored to celebrate World Food Day 2021 with all of you today. This annual event celebrates the founding of the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization. This year's theme for World Food Day is "Our actions are our future," and it could not be more relevant. As we continue to face global challenges, including the COVID-19 pandemic and climate change, we see how these challenges have impacted food security and agriculture. But when crisis hits, Minnesotans step up to help our neighbors and friends. By working together to tackle the challenges that come before us, we can create a more sustainable, resilient, and equitable world. I look forward to our continued work together to achieve that very goal. Take care and enjoy World Food Day.
Mark, thank you very much. It's great to be back with you in Global Minnesota for World Food Day this year. The people and businesses of Minnesota are absolutely vital supporters of the World Food Program and our work all around the world. So it's a part of who you are. It is what you do. So thank you. I'm particularly grateful also for the leadership of Cargill and General Mills for their active partnership with us. They do amazing things, both through financial support, but also through their active involvement with the World Food Program USA. All these contributions of time, talent, treasure, allow us to both feed people and build systems that help contribute to peace and lay the pathway to a food secure and hopeful future. I have to tell you all, though, that the situation right now is not good. It's worse than when I spoke with you last year. We face the interconnected problems of hunger, insecurity, and migration as a daily reality. And we see how the climate crisis is combining with conflict and now COVID's economic impact to deepen hunger and make our world and our work even harder. Together, these factors have plunged 300 million more people into hunger and food insecurity. Without stepped up action and support, we risk a hunger pandemic following in the wake of the global health pandemic. We have hunger in Yemen, Afghanistan, Tigray, South Sudan, Madagascar, Central America, Haiti, and the list goes on and on. The coming year will be a critical turning point in global hunger. 811 million people go to bed hungry each night, and 41 million people are on the brink of famine, knocking on famine's door as we speak right now. And COVID-19 delivered the hardest blow in decades to world hunger, and many of the world's most vulnerable nations are not out of the woods yet. Hunger has the potential to destabilize nations and regions around the world. Conflict and food security are mutually reinforcing this problem. When you heard from me last, we spoke about conflict as the major driver of hunger worldwide, and I'm sorry to say that this is still the case. Anyone who takes a cursory glance at the current headlines will know how recent events have exacerbated hunger in Afghanistan, and especially the horrible conditions that people are facing now in Ethiopia. There, people are fighting not just for food, but they're fighting for their lives. WFP is central in Ethiopia, doing all that we can to get trucks of aid to those who are facing starvation. Then there is climate. For example, firsthand evidence of the impact of weather events. We need look no further than Madagascar, where I just visited. You'll see there, drought upon drought has left families helpless and with no means to feed themselves. Hunger will worsen later this month as we enter the lean season, the period between planting and harvesting, when food stocks run low or run out. Hundreds of thousands of lives are at risk in Madagascar, the only place in the world right now where famine-like conditions have been driven by climate, not conflict. I saw this myself firsthand, and it's unforgettably heartbreaking. Look at Kenya, where droughts and funding shortages have forced us to do something we never wanted to do. Rations were reduced by necessity, giving people who are already struggling even fewer calories to live on. But I do have some good news. The United States continues to be the world's most generous donor to the United Nations World Food Program, both through government support and through private sector actors like those on this call. Any given year, WFP distributes over 4 million metric tons of food, more than a quarter of which comes through grants from the United States government, the United States taxpayer. That support comes from almost 20 states across the Union, including Minnesota. These American-grown commodities are critical to feeding the world through WFP and private markets. I've been in Washington talking to senators about the historic needs we're facing. They know that the support that WFP has from the American people, and that without this support from the American people, U.S. companies and the U.S. government, millions more would be facing famine. Thank you for all you do to support the World Food Program. And thanks for having me here with you again, Mark. Great to be with you.
Dear friends, this year's World Food Day found us at a critical moment. The COVID-19 pandemic remains a global challenge, causing the untold losses and hardship. The impacts of the climate crisis are all around us. Crops have gone up in flames. Homes have been washed away. Countless lives have been thrown into turmoil. Our thoughts are with the people in Afghanistan, Haiti, and many other humanitarian emergencies. Global food security challenges have not been this severe for years. Yet, in the past year, we have also witnessed the resilience and power within all of us. And we owe our gratitude to all our food heroes who have kept production up and market shelf stocking. We at FAO have also prepared and positioned ourselves to better support the members in dealing with shocks and challenges. Our new strategic framework, 2022 to 2031, endorsed by FAO 194 members, supports the 2030 agenda through transformation to more efficient, inclusive, resilient, and sustainable agri-food systems. For better production, better nutrition, a better environment, and a better life leaving no one behind. The UN Food Systems Summit last month saw the world coming together, committed to transforming our global agri-food systems together. It was a People's Summit, a Solution Summit, and Action Summit, with hundreds of national dialogues contributing ideas and action plans demonstrating our collective commitment. This World Food Day calls on us to walk the talk and take the action. As producers, distributors, or consumers, we each have the power to make the positive impact on the transformation. Our actions are our future. Let this World Food Day be day one of the future without hunger. Thank you.
Hello, I am Jocelyn Brown Hall. I'm the director of the Liaison Office for North America of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. We're based here in Washington, D.C., and we cover both the United States and Canada. I am pleased to wish all of you a happy World Food Day this morning at this exciting and timely symposium hosted by Global Minnesota. Collective action across 150 countries is what makes World Food Day one of the most celebrated days of the United Nations calendar. Hundreds of events and outreach activities, such as the one today, bring together governments, businesses, civil society, and the public to raise awareness and do some calls to action for those who suffer from hunger and for the need to ensure healthy diets for all. World Food Day also marks the founding of FAO on October 16, 1945 in Quebec, Canada. This followed its conception 2 years prior at a meeting held in Hot Springs, Virginia, where 44 governments met and expressed the need for a specialized UN agency to focus on food, nutrition, and agriculture. Today, over 811 million people are suffering from global hunger, while over 3 billion people cannot afford healthy diets. Meanwhile, a third of the food produced today is lost or wasted, even as agriculture contributes to a third of the greenhouse gas emissions. We have to change. World Food Day aims not only to remind us of the challenges we are facing today, but to inspire action by all sectors to build a future of food that we want. The theme this year is Our Actions Are Our Future, and it calls for collective measures at every level of the food system for better production, better nutrition, better environment, and a better life for all. Each one of us, whether you're a producer, distributor, processor, or consumer, has a role to play to build a more inclusive, resilient, equitable, and sustainable food system. As the FAO Director General mentioned, there is power within each one of us to make positive changes to end hunger and build sustainable food systems. All of us can take actions today that will lead us to better food systems tomorrow, where we appreciate the genuine cost and labor that goes into food, as well as the people who produce it. That's why, as part of World Food Day, last year and this one, we've been spotlighting food heroes who ensure that food reaches our table, and they also promote sustainable agri-food systems. This year, we're excited to feature food heroes from North America, including the former White House chef for the Obamas, Sam Cass, Indigenous peoples chef and advocate Rich Francis from Canada, and Chef Jose Andres, who probably needs no introduction, but he's the founder of the World Central Kitchen. Our regional food heroes include Monique Chan, founder of Bruised in Canada, and Passion Murray, who's known for leading Detroit Dirt. From improving school nutrition to promoting Indigenous foodways, building resilience, and addressing food waste, these heroes are all working to have an impact at the community, national, and global levels. By sharing their stories, we hope to inspire you to act. You can also join the World Food Day Food Heroes campaign by sharing a picture thanking your food hero on social media using the hashtags World Food Day and Food Heroes. Other World Food Day activities that we have this week include an Indigenous Chefs Cook-Off, a Twitter chat about sustainable agriculture, a poetry competition, and a law lecture about the importance of regulations to food systems. We're happy to inform you that the United States Senate passed a World Food Day resolution, which we also introduced in the House. The resolution is a call to action to address the three drivers of global food insecurity: climate, economic downturns, and conflicts, all of which have been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. In addition, we have introduced World Food Day state proclamations in the DC, Maryland, and Virginia tri-state area. We invite you to join us next year to introduce legislation or proclamation in your state. My hope is that each of you feels inspired to make a change this World Food Day, whether it's through diversifying your diet, composting, recycling, reducing food loss or waste, or educating your friends and family about more nutritious, environmentally, and socially responsible food products. We invite you to head over to the FAO World Food Day website to find World Food Day events that take place nearby to you. You can also register your own event, no matter how big or small, to be included in the global celebration and awareness day. Thank you so much for having me. We're grateful for our partnership with Global Minnesota and wish you all an impactful and healthy World Food Day. Thank you.
Thank you to the world leaders who have contributed their thoughts and also their energy and their life's work to the same mission, the same values, the same objectives that we share here of reaching that goal of zero hunger and addressing hunger wherever it is, caused by whatever circumstances. We must find the solutions, and World Food Day gives us a chance to bring a lot of those ideas and leaders together. I want to highlight other activities going on around the country and the planet, just so that you know how many important things are happening. The last couple of days, the UN has had their World Food Security, their Global Food Security Summit, and they've been looking at mechanisms to recharge and restart the efforts that were taking us forward to greater food security until we were hit by the COVID and these climate difficulties, extreme weather, and the conflicts. Yesterday was announced this year's World Food Prize. Our colleagues and friends down in Iowa announced, and they put the focus this year on fisheries and the role of our fisheries, small and artisanal and family fishers and others, in addressing that food supply and food security issue worldwide. And of course, it's something we need to keep in mind everywhere, protecting our oceans, our lakes, our streams, our water, our biodiversity, our fish, our other marine animals. Our goal of worldwide food security includes keeping the whole planet a safe and ecologically strong biosystem. Today, some other organizations have made some important announcements. Our good friends at the Regenerative Agriculture Foundation announced a series of grants to Indigenous and people of color organizations advancing what they're calling recovery regenerative practices in agriculture. And this afternoon, actually, you'll be hearing from a couple of those leaders from the Iowa tribe of Nebraska and Kansas. So we're excited that they were honored in this way today. We also know that today is a very special day in a larger context because it's the last day of Hispanic Heritage Month as celebrated here in the United States. Started at September 15th. Our organization and many others have had a number of activities, but today was special because so many organizations lifted up the role of our Hispanic, Latino, and Latinx partners, neighbors, friends, and colleagues in the whole global food system, whether it's in production as farmers or farm workers or working in the food industry or bringing forth a cuisine that's appropriate, and also the role that indigenous producers have played for thousands of years, bringing us the crops that we so critically depend on today. These were from the contributions in many instances from Central and South America, from Mexico, and from our own region here. So it's the last day of Hispanic Heritage Month, but if you haven't had a chance to see some of those resources, that would actually be, for many of you, maybe an opportunity to see how to connect with that important global opportunity next year. I was so happy to hear about all of the FAO activities, Food and Agriculture Organization activities here in North America and around the world. I know there's about 150 countries where there are things happening. So this is a sign of momentum. This is a sign of change happening, and so glad that we can be part of that.